Have you ever met someone you didn't like immediately? The first the first instinct you had, the first feeling you had was, I don't like this person. And then you find yourself talking yourself out of that notion, or talking yourself into believing something different than your first spiritual you know, thought. You're like, you know what, they're not so bad. Maybe, oh, they have a nice car. Maybe, everybody else likes them. Oh my God, everybody else wants to be with them. So it must be me. It can't be the person. Certainly not. I mean, it has to be me. I should trust other people's notion and not my own. Have you done that? Shouldn't have, right? How many of you feel like you're dating or married to the same person or same spirit that you've met before? Whether it is a past relationship, a past partner, or are you dating your parents, like your dad or your mom? And then all of a sudden in the relationship, you start realizing some correlation, you see some correlations. You're like, this person seems so familiar. I can't put my finger on it. Oh my God, she's doing things just the way my mom would. And that's a good thing, because I really have mommy issues and I really need to work out my karmic resolution with my mom. So this person who I can, who's beautiful, who loves me and who can cook and can clean, and who I'm having a great time with, this might be the perfect person to resolve the karmic issues that I have with my parents. That's not how it really goes, right? But that's exactly what it is. A lot of us are attracted to people that are similar to people from our past, including our parents or past relationships or past, something in the past that we didn't resolve, that is sitting there in our psyche, and we're like, you know what? This is similar, you don't realize it right away. And then even when you do realize it, by then it's what? Too late. It's too late. You're already stuck. You cannot get out of the quicksand. Your boot is going to be stuck like on Alone, the show. You're having a hard time because you did not recognize it going in. And now at the point of recognition, you're too invested and you're like, darn gun it, I cannot get out of this. Yeah, you can. Or there's another way around it if you don't want to, right? So many of us are attracted to familiar spirits. And familiar spirits are things that seem comfortable. It could be a familiar smell, it could be a familiar taste, it could be a familiarity with the environment, it could be triggering words the person says to you, or behavior or mannerisms. All that stuff can cause familiarity in a relationship. And a lot of us go headline and sinker right into relationships where it's the same protocol, it's the same codependency that we were exposed to, it's the same love bombing, it's the same traumatic bombing and trauma bombing, and we go right into it because we need it. We need healing, and we never got healing, and because we never got healing, the universe keeps on sending us people so that we can heal, and we end up dating and getting in relationships and even marrying those people that are really our life's lesson. Are you living with a life lesson? It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Recognizing it, though, is useful. Understanding how you got here is also useful. So many people are trying to work out their past in their current relationships, in their current attractions, in their current situations. And they're stuck at not understanding why. Why does this keep on happening? Why did I do everything possible and yet still I find myself here in the same situation scenario in this relationship? What is wrong? I'll tell you what's wrong. The universe is trying to help you heal. I remember one time, years ago, I married my work. I was like, he said at one point, you're an angel, you're an angelic being. I believed him for a time. And I ended up doing a lot of work with him. I ended up working on him and his issues and his problems and helping him to become the person that I knew I fell in love with. I fell in love with the potential, and then I had to develop the potential, and it was so much work. Was it worth it? Yeah, because he's a great human being, right? And he turned out okay, but all the work I invested in him, it just delayed the work that I had to do in myself. It's like push the delay button if you understand what I'm talking about right now. You have to do the work on yourself. In order to avoid familiar spirits, you have to be able to recognize when they're familiar. And the only way you can deal with that familiarity is if you're aware of why it's showing up, or you're aware of its existence to start with. So many people, and I've said this time and time again, so many people engage in relationships and they have not healed. Stop lying to yourself. If you have not healed, start the healing process. Find a way to heal, but do not come into a relationship using the other person or your partner as a means to facilitate that healing. Because what happens is it creates a rift in the relationship. It puts a lot of pressure on the other person to perform for you or to accommodate your needs, or vice versa. You both are not healed. And I've seen this all the time. Both people need healing. Both people are attracted because of the familiarity or the trauma bonding, which means they both have similar trauma and they came together and they're like, oh yeah, my mom beat me, and my dad, and your dad beat you. You understand what I'm going through. DC do. Yeah, it is great to have something in common with someone, but trauma is something that only you can work on your own time. Trauma is something that is an individualistic journey. The other person cannot help you resolve issues within yourself that you need to resolve. Can they help you stay on course? Absolutely. I've seen people who have trauma bonded, and the one person has literally helped the other person to come out of that trauma, whether it's drugs, whether it's abuse, whether it's anything. I've seen people actually motivate the other person. That's what I was talking about earlier. I did it in one of my relationships. I helped him to get over drugs. I helped him to become clean, but he did the work on his own to become clean. I just facilitated that process because I wasn't focused on me. And I said that just now. When you're focused on helping someone else with their pain, it makes it difficult for you to do your own individualistic work. And that's what familiarity does. That's what familiar spirits are. Familiar spirits are sent, or they manifest by you. You also can manifest these spirits because there's a part of us that always wants to do better. We know what we need. We know that we need healing. Most of us may not acknowledge that, but a lot of us need to heal. And a lot of times we attract the perfect situation and the perfect people to help facilitate that healing without realizing it. And then we call it love. We're like, oh, we're in love. This person is everything to me, and this person is going to help me overcome everything, and I'm going to be a better person for it. And then down the road, you realize, guess what? You have to do the work. They can't do it for you. As much as they're there to help you through the process, it's an individualistic journey, healing. So familiar spirits, as familiar as they are, cannot do for you what you refuse to do for yourself. You know, I see it all the time. I see people that have married their fathers. I see women, that are definitely in a relationship with the same prototype. It's like, this person is controlling, this person tells me what to do, and they like it because it's something that they're familiar with. They like it to a certain point, but they don't realize that they never dealt with it. And now they're dealing with it. And then one day they wake up and say, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that this person is controlling. You know what? You're just like my father. Did you not get with this person because they reminded you of your dad? It's amazing what the subconscious can do. If you're not consciously aware of your actions, then it makes it really difficult to help correct the behavior or help correct the situation at hand. That's why I'm talking about familiar spirits today, because a lot of us encounter familiar spirits and we go head first in, and then the last thing to come out is our feet as we're running away from the situation. If you're in such a situation, if you marry your dad or you married your mom, the good thing is that you've lived through the worst part, right? The worst part is you're out from your parents and you're in this relationship with this person. It can work. It can work. So you have to do behavior that is totally different from the behavior you did when you were a child or an adolescent. Now it's time for you to own your stuff. It's time for you to do the work on you and realize where you are and realize where you want to be, which is more important. You don't have to feel stuck. You don't have to feel like you made a mistake. You don't have to feel like there's no way out. There's nothing worse than a caged animal who wants to chew off its own foot and the foot is stuck in the cage and they cannot. You don't have to feel this feeling of dread or this feeling of absolute terror that this is as good as it gets and that you can't do any better. You can always do better. You can always strive for better. The truth is that you need to first recognize where you're at. I say that in all my videos. Recognizing where you are in this moment, recognizing that you did marry something that is very familiar and that seems safe and comfortable. And now the discomfort that you chose not to deal with as an adolescent or a child is bang in your face. And you're like, I didn't want to deal with it then. I don't want to deal with it now. But you have to. You have to, because the universe is telling you it's time to heal. And in order to heal, you have to face what is familiar and what was uncomfortable. My name is Ingrid Felton. As always, thank you for coming by my YouTube channel. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for continuing to support me. As long as you show up, what do I always say? I will continue to show up with you. You can reach me. I know a lot of people are like, what's your number? 708-813-708-9064. 813-708-9064. Because I know a lot of times people come through the website to find me, and I would love to hear from you, love to help you facilitate this part of your journey of moving forward, of not remaining stuck, of not feeling like you don't have choices. You always have choices. And I say that ominously, you always do. Bye.